Rosenberg's worked really hard behind the scenes. We've been trying to get Nicki Minaj back in our graces for about a year now.
51 weeks.
Yeah. Rosenberg, so this is on you, sir. Where would you like this interview to go?
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Nicki because it's very odd to have someone that you don't know very well who's become like such a fixture in your life. Like everyone talks about Nicki to me. Like I've always wondered. I was always like, I wonder if Nicki knows that she's come up every day in my life for 350 days. Like to the point that where Starships got played at my wedding, and it was like the biggest deal at my wedding was Starships playing at my wedding. Like, you've been a fixture in my life. My family talks about her. You know what I'm saying? So the main thing was just that it's interesting to have a conversation with someone who's played an important role. And I also always promised myself after everything went down that I would thank her because by sheer proxy, she made me more poppin'. Just by sheer proxy of dealing with her, she made me more poppin'. But I'm happy you came to talk, and I wanted to always just kind of express that while I certainly meant how I felt about the song, I was bummed out that it took the life that it took and that people ended up seeing me as like this like person who hated Nicki Minaj or had any sort of negative feelings towards you as a person, because I don't know if you remember any of our previous brief interactions, but you don't remember? Because I figured you didn't. You're a busy woman. But I met you the year before. I came up to you on stage, and at that point, I already know people had probably had been in your ear being like, the morning show says little things, and I tried to pull you aside even though you were really busy, and I was just like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I think you could be the greatest female MC of all time. I was like, I think that could happen. I know you probably don't remember, and I promise I'm not lying.
Okay.
And I was like, I really think that, and I was like, but if anything ever sounds any way, like, I'm probably going to be hard on you because I am that kind of hip-hop geek. That's who I am. Mm-hmm. And so... And furthermore, and this is a long-ass explanation, when the whole thing went down, you have to remember, I was on the festival stage, not remembering we were streaming, not remembering anything. All I did was get up and do my regular spiel, which is hype up underground crowds, right? So as part of the hyping up the underground crowd, I dissed what was the most mainstream song at the time. When I get back to the stage and Evro goes, yo, did you say something about Nicki? And I'm like, this is the biggest moment of my career pretty much. I literally didn't remember it. I'm like, oh, I did say something. He's like, yeah, it was streaming on her website. I was like, oh. So that's how the whole thing started.
Fucking idiot.
Exactly. So then what happened afterwards was hip hop and playing and posturing and all those things. But I am sorry that things went as left as they did. And I never had ill feelings about you as a human being, ever. That was never, and I never would ever have dissed you in any personal way ever beyond my sort of distaste for that song.
It's cool. It's water under the bridge.
Do you mean that?
Yeah. I mean, it's so long ago. I can't even act like I care anymore. Like, I don't care. I really don't. But I appreciate you guys having me.
And I did have conversations with more Barbs during the first 3 months of that incident.
Yeah, they don't like you at all.
No.
There's no coming back from that.
Yeah. They hate you.
There's nothing that can be done.
Yo, listen to me. Them 19, 17, 15-year-old Barbs will never forgive you until they're 25. At which point, they might.
Yeah. I was getting there were some tweets that were rough, but I survived.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, in hindsight, I should have just come and, like, I told Ebro this. I should have just did the show. Because I've never allowed anyone to, no matter what I've gone through personally or whatever professionally, I've never allowed that to make me let my fans down. And even if it wasn't a Nicki Minaj fan, just a fan in general, somebody that was there that paid to see the show, I think in hindsight I should have just came out because it's my hometown especially, and they shouldn't have been brought into whatever we were going through. And so I wish I would have come out and did the show. And I apologize for not coming out and doing the show because they had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? So that was like my whole thing when I thought about it. I was like, a whole bunch of people were punished for something that they knew nothing about, something that they couldn't control. And there really was no way for me to make it up. So I felt really, really bad for the whole, just for the whole situation. But You know what? Like, I get it. Like, that's what you do. I guess to me, I just don't know your resume. You know what I'm saying? So I never found you funny. I never found you entertaining. I never found you smart. I just found you annoying because, you know, I grew up in New York. I've grown up on Hot 97. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know Angie and I know Flex and Mr. C and all these people. And whether they like me or whether or not we get along, I just know their resume. So that's why it was so easy for me to pick up the phone and talk to Flex and be like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? But like with you, I was just like, who are you? To me, you don't have enough of a resume to make those comments. But, you know, you did, and it is what it is. For whatever reason, our paths were meant to cross like that. So it's over.
Well, also, I will say this. It makes sense that you wouldn't really know me or mess with me because in the period in which I was coming up here, you were blowing up and kind of gone. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you that I've been in radio for 16 years. I dreamt of being a Hot 97 since I was a kid. We're I guess, generally roughly the same age, in the same age range. And I dreamed of being on Hot and having my role the same way you dreamed of being played on Hot.
Right.
And honestly, like, I would never put on some front that I had a
Wait, hold on. I get to help Nicki Minaj with her jacket. You continue.
Ebro, right. You are so extra right now.
So,
but I do appreciate it.
It is a tight jacket. It does need a little bit of breeze. You are not being. There you go. All right.
I definitely can undress a woman. This is something I can do.
Oh.
Ebro is so extra today. Thank you.
So,
yes.
While I certainly wouldn't expect you to know what I've done, I will tell you this. And I haven't had a tough life, but in the hip hop game, I had no connects. I started from ground zero, dreamed of doing mornings at Hot, grew up on Flex, visiting from DC because that's where I'm from, and busted my ass to get here. And then when I got here, I did the underground show. I do a Sunday night underground show. So I had reached out to you at first, and we had like even connected, I think, on GChat or whoever was controlling your email at the time at the beginning about supporting you when you were doing the early stuff. And that's my pedigree. That's the stuff that I do. I put on a lot of artists I've broken that are up and comers. And I love hip hop. So I speak out about things I don't like. So when an artist who I consider to be as important a hip hop artist as there is in the game today made a record that I deemed to be totally something that I didn't, and I understand we have different opinions on it, something that I viewed as not good for hip hop, it wasn't something that I was trying to like go at you personally about. Like KRS made Step Into a World remix featuring Diddy. Like,
you were mad about that.
And I was mad. In 97, I was mad at the time. I was upset. I don't hate KRS for it. You know what I'm saying? It was a moment that I didn't like. But that's me as Joe Backpacker number one. You know what I'm saying? But
I like everybody's resumes and the backstories and everything. That's great. And I think we're making progress. But you guys are clean now. This is good. Move on from here.
Well,
right?
she did just bury me. She didn't bury me.
I don't want to talk about
but
it
I think what she's saying is, look, I really didn't know you, so that's why I took offense to it. Not like I don't know you and don't think you matter.
Not smart. I mean,
I just didn't know I didn't know what your character was. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know what you represented on this station.
Wait, let me ask you a question.
You know what I mean?
Did you even actually hear or see any of the video or audio yourself?
No.
Never, not once.
Never, not once. I swear to God, I never.
So all of your disdain or attitude towards the scenario was based on people giving you information?
Correct.
Wow. So you do realize that never, not once, no one on this AM show program had anything negative to say about you as a person or even your music.
But that I hate when you say that though, because anything you say about me or my music or
is personal to you.
Exactly.
See, and that's I think the disconnect for us is because so much of the music we love, right? And here comes a song that we're like, we don't like this song. We don't think that's a personal attack, and I think that's sometimes a misunderstanding on our part, right? Like we don't.
No, but I want to see. That's what another thing I need to clear up. I don't give a rat's ass if people don't like Starships. You know what I mean?
By the way, people do like Starship.
Starship sold 7 million copies worldwide. That means 7 million motherfuckers like Starships.
And how about this? He liked Starships. His feelings was hurt when you made Starships.
And that's fine. And I would feel like that too. I mean, but you
got to do what's good for you.
But you also have to remember that I am not your typical rapper. I am not your typical person. I just did the biggest TV show in America, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, you guys, but I appreciate the fact that you see me as an MC, because that's what I do and that's who I am. People try not to give me my credit, but I really do this. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, like, when I step out and do a pop song, it's like, damn, Nick, really? Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people are disappointed by that, and I totally get it. I don't judge you. I'm not mad at people if they don't like it, but I wanted to experiment. My whole career has been almost just like a playing field for me to try new things. I never put a limit on myself. And I don't like when, especially black women, put a limit on what they can do. You should be able to try whatever the hell you want to try, as long as you keep in your integrity. Like, I liked the song. I loved Super Bass. Super Bass wasn't even supposed to be a single. Like, that was on the deluxe album. It's not my fault that it, came out. People loved it. 4 million sold in America. It's like, sometimes you do things, and it's so funny because even like right now, like, I was thinking, you know how if I really wanted to right now, I could go back in and make another pop song like that to sell all this stuff. And I'm choosing not to do it. You know what I mean? I'm choosing to get back to my essence and just feed the core hip hop fan. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
we need you in a bad
and
way.
I feel like I need this, because it's just a more powerful platform for me.
You wouldn't say it's also mostly, like, as the little girl who grew up in Queens, mostly where your heart is from, is in this?
Absolutely. I mean, even when I'm on stage performing my rap songs, it's more organic, it's more authentic, you know what I mean? Because that's how everybody knows my story. I didn't have anything. I really grew up here. Like, this was all I knew, So I tell my story, and obviously, but I still grew up loving Cyndi Lauper and Madonna. You know what I mean?
Of course, so did I.
So it's not like...
I think it's our fault in hip-hop, and I'm the worst one, right? Where we put these boundaries on what hip-hop can be, what it should be, what it could be. And I think I do it, I can't speak for everyone, but I do it from a place of, I know what this music means to the young person who doesn't have a voice, right? And this was the music of the young person that didn't have a voice. So all of a sudden, when it becomes commoditized and mainstream and all of these things that don't reflect those humble beginnings, right? I start to be like, oh my God, we're losing it. We're losing it, because I've seen it happen to music genres, 100 times. It happens all the time.
There is evidence that things are happening now. Ironically, I wouldn't say Starships is one of those things in hindsight. I think there are other things that make me much more nervous about where the culture is going than a pop song that came out. You know what I'm saying? But
also because in the moment where you made Starships, you had these other things like Bees in the Trap and these other things where you was like, yo, I still do this hip hop shit. Right. Where we was all like, yo, because the lack of a female MC in hip hop is a travesty. Well, what I'm saying?
Let's be honest. Let's keep it real. In the history of this game, and this is why, again, like, why I held you to such a high standard, not that my opinion matters, but for me, is that in the history of this game, if you look at it in terms of sales, reach, and actually touching people, there's Nicki Minaj and Lauren. I love it. I love Light, Shantae, everyone all the way back. But in terms of actual global reach,
right.
It's you and Lauren. And let's be real, Lauren, God bless her, did a Fugees album that made a difference and one solo album that made a difference. You've already passed that. So you are an iconic female rap artist. So it's not surprising that you create major conversation if you switch directions in any way. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's a lot. That's a heavy crown. I'm not gonna lie. There hasn't been someone else who's gotten close.
I could see the burden in her face. Like, the burden was like, Jesus Christ, Rosenberg.
I know.
You really gonna throw all that on my back right
true.
now?
I'll throw. You want to look at numbers? Because I'm
it's
sure
true,
she's number
but
one.
It's still stress. So you just spoke to where you're going. Now that you've reached these kind of, I don't know, American Idol, world tours, David Guetta songs, top 40 number ones, blah blah blah. Like, is it now? Do you feel like, I kind of did it all, let me just get back to the essence of who I am? Absolutely.
I kind of did it. Not only did I do it, but I won doing it. Yeah. Like, I think, and that's what I said before, like, even regarding your comments, it wouldn't probably have been a big deal if Starships didn't sell that much. But because it became so big, it's like, it kind of like erased everything else that I was doing, and people couldn't see that because all they're hearing is starships, and that's all. You know what I mean? So.
But are you saying that actually almost came to bother you in a weird way? That like
it
you didn't bother you?
It didn't bother me because I really loved the song, but it's sort of like just overshadowed everything else. You know,
Well, it's kind of like if just her being an MC overshadowed all her other accomplishments. I think the antithesis or the other side was you saying, wait, this Starship song is overshadowing all my MC and hip hop credentials.
and all my history,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I feel like I did it. I don't need to do it again. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I'm going to feel after the third album, but I know for the third album, and I've been doing a lot of features, all rap features, and I just been getting back to that place where I was right before I dropped my first album, which is kill
Ooh,
everything.
I like
Because that Summer Jam, the first time around when she showed up, I mean, that's when you had my favorite things. And by the way, I used to say this on the air, but I knew no one ever told you the nice things that I said. The Hello Good Morning feature was probably the first that made me like, hello.
Yeah.
The Trey feature was amazing, and then Monster, of course. That's what I said. I said this woman just stole a song with 3 of the other biggest rappers in the game. That's the thing. The pop songs are cool, but you do so well rapping that as a rap fan,
Yeah.
we do love seeing you rap.
And rapping makes me always stay on my grind too, because I'm very competitive when it comes to wordplay, my writing, my flow. Like, it's very hard for me to give people props if, like, especially like females. I kind of feel like a lot of girls come in the game and feel like I'm gonna just put some words together and make them rhyme. And I studied for so many years how to make my flow sound to the point where it feels like you're watching art. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like to just get on and just say a regular thing and not. That's why I had started doing all those crazy voices, which I don't do anymore. But that was one of the things, because I just wanted to play with my craft, and that's why Monster became such a big deal. It was just like, whoa, different personalities. Who has the balls to do it? Nobody, because everybody is afraid. Everybody was afraid to be fun, to be playful, to be a character. I studied acting. This is what I do. I'm shooting a movie now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I've always wanted to do. So I get it that, when people just saw me on the underground circuit, they just saw bamboo earrings, some pink hair, and, you know what I'm saying? And I was so hood, like.
Loved it too. Loved it.
I was always like, yo, I'm the baddest bitch, fuck that, da, da, da. And so people just thought, that's her, I got it. Then when they see other sides of you, they feel like, that's not you, but that is me. Like, I've always been multifaceted. And
is the culture you're into all over the place too? Like, you love all kinds of movies, like, you're not.
My favorite actress is Meryl Streep. I mean, that should tell you something. Like, I just don't. I don't know. I don't limit what I like, but I agree that Nicki Minaj should focus on rap. Like, I agree.
Today.
Yeah, not now, but I would not have done it differently, because that got me to, like, the American Idol, and American Idol got me. This director, Nick Cassavetes, saw me on American Idol. So it's like everything plays a part. So that's why when people say, "Oh, are you mad? I would do every single thing the same exact way."
What wouldn't it, outside of decisions in terms of type of music that you make? Are there any other regrets that you do have in the way things have gone for you?
There is one regret. When I was working on my second album, I took on so much. I had to rehearse with Madonna for the Super Bowl. I did the NBA All-Star thing, and I did the Grammys. It was too much for me to focus on writing my album. You know what I mean? Like, with my first album, I knocked everything off the calendar. I didn't care who you were. I was in my zone. With the second album, I just did way too much. I spread myself way too thin. And so for this third album, once this movie is shot, the kid is going back home, and I'm going to be in my dungeon writing, and now I have so much more to talk about too.
Can I ask you a real question?
Yeah.
Have there been times when you think you've been guilty of being a diva, of being a pain in the ass? Do you think you're tough?
Is Lil Wayne tough?
I don't know. He never comes to see us either. I don't know. Al Branch, tell me. I have no idea. I just don't know.
Well, you strive for perfection. I think that's where you're about to go, right?
You're saying no. She's saying I'm framing it that way because she's a woman.
Right.
Oh, I know that many people are that way, men and women. Yes, and I would call a man a diva as well.
I handle my business, and also I speak up for myself. But if I was not like this, so many people would have taken advantage of me. What people don't understand is that when I was doing this, I took a lot of shit from people, from men who didn't want me to realize my own worth, who didn't want me to know the truth about like who I was and how good I was. Like I had people literally like speak to labels that wanted to sign me and wouldn't tell me, and I just dealt with a lot of stuff from guys. And I think that, and plus my father was so crazy, you know, with his alcohol and drug abuse and stuff like that. I've just always felt like I'm never gonna let anyone pull me down, make me feel small. I'm never gonna let a man do that. And I think sometimes that transfers over into your career as a woman, and you feel like, wait a minute, excuse me, what? There's a chip on your shoulder because you've experienced headstrong men that, you know, and I experienced my mom not really speaking up as much as I wanted her to when I was young, and that's all I really saw. And I just used to be like, I remember thinking like, why won't she say something? Why won't she yell back? Why don't, you know, or like that's kind of like where it comes from. But I'm a businesswoman. I run companies. Like, I don't think people understand that. And so
people live off you. There are many people whose livelihoods is
right.
Nicki Minaj.
And so sometimes, yeah, is there a diva moment? Yeah, but my heart is always in the right place. Like, I never try to be mean to people. But sometimes is there a crazy situation where somebody might get cussed out? Yeah. But I have to say that I've been in a different space lately. Like, I love my team. Everybody's just doing their job, and I'm in a very good space. But I think that people try to make such a big deal out of when a woman stands up for herself. Why? Because I see people walk on eggshells around Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I see people walk on eggshells. I'm pretty sure around Jay, around M, around all these men. But as soon as a female walks out of an interview, I walked out of an interview because I was feeling positive and happy, and this lady wanted to bring up controversy, and I didn't want to deal with negative anymore. I just don't want to deal with it. And so I walked away. I'm entitled to walk away. But if you walk away, oh, she's a diva. Oh, so I should stand up there and curse the lady out? Then
no,
what?
listen, I'm the first person to admit that women have a double standard when it comes to absolutely everything.
Yeah.
I will say that's one of the things that made me feel bad about our whole situation is that I can see now that because of your experience with men, me, a stranger, I was just another hating ass man.
Right.
And I'm I was a women's studies minor in college. I'm the antithesis of that dude. Like, I want women to be in your position. Yeah. So I did, when you said that, I was like, damn, she saw me and was just like, another motherfucking man hater.
And you're white.
I didn't even say that.
White boy.
She never implied anything about white.
Well,
she implied the man.
I did.
Well, being white also struck a chord with me, if I'm being honest, because I was like, yo, he's on a black station dissing black people. Like, I just didn't like the feel of it. And you know what else? Like, I was thinking, like, those pop stations and stuff like that, like, they don't really get on there and, like, blast the pop artists like that.
But they don't have a culture like that. We have a cult. Hip hop is a culture we love.
It's so different.
And by the way, who am I gonna diss if not black people? I'm on a hip hop station. I have to diss black people sometimes. If I diss white rappers,
absolutely not. You watch your mouth, sir.
You only want me to go at Mac Miller? I mean, who am I gonna go at?
And Mac Lamore.
And Mac
We have plenty of artists now.
Black rappers do whatever you
and
want.
And Riff Raff.
No, that's you. I used to only diss white rappers, but as I've gotten further along, I felt I earned the right to diss all things I didn't like.
Races, okay.
The irony in that
cool.
was that he was mad that you were making pop mainstream music. He wasn't even dissing your like hip hop shit ever in life.
No way.
Ever in life. Never fixed his lips.
But who
cares?
was the only thing that hurt my feelings though is when you were like, oh, and he dissed a female. That made me feel bad because I was like, I would have dissed a male.
Yeah,
dissed many males.
But it did come across crazy when there's like 10 guys on the lineup and little old me, girl with vagina.
And the biggest number one pop hit on the
Wait,
the
not
lineup.
a girl with a vagina.
Yeah, well.
I just said girl with vagina.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, as opposed to girl without vagina.
Right.
Got it.
But you were the only. If you look on the list, you were the biggest. Truth to be told, you were the biggest star on the list, and with the biggest hit on the list.
Well, and I wasn't even going to do Starships.
I know. Sweet irony.
Can I
Sweet
tell
irony.
you the real story?
Yes.
I bet she knows.
So she knows this story, I think. I don't know if I told her. So remember that day you and I were exchanging emails joking about Starships, and you was like, I ain't doing that record out there.
Yeah, and you
I was
told me
like,
you showed him the
and I showed Rosenberg the email of her and I joking.
Corny.
Which was before he went out on stage.
Which
to
had
make the
it didn't
comment.
affect my. I didn't think about.
But you
one
were,
another-
but that was on the top of your mind. I wouldn't have even been on
maybe
your mind.
it was in my brain.
Because
yeah.
I thought it was
so it's
funny.
Ebro's
So it's
fault.
Ebro's
It's all-
fault.
And
it's-
it wasn't funny, Ebro.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks a lot, Ebro. You caused a lot of stress. Upside, you got me like 40,000 Twitter followers. But besides that, you were a real jerk.
Listen, you almost got beat up by a bunch of 15-year-olds with pink hair, man. It was treacherous.
Yo, and real
it was
All my
treacherous.
fans don't have pink hair, and all my fans ain't 15.
No, and Scaff Breezy did threaten to punch me in
Yo,
the face that
Scab,
day.
come on, fam.
He jumps on Twitter. Punch me in the face. I just dissed the
Yo,
song.
can you just take a clean swipe at him real quick on camera?
If you're gonna do it, I mean, I will say this too. That night when we got back home, first of all, Nicki, that was the only night in life I do not move with security. That was the only night in life when going to the parking lot I had security with me. And when I got back to my building, there were like a couple of Escalades outside my building. I was like,
So we was
Oh,
waiting with the
shit.
on the
ratchets.
block, yo.
shit.
Should have been waiting with the ratchets,
I,
nigga.
I was like, I don't know who Wayne and Nicki have out here.
Yeah. Yo, so listen, Summer Jam's a week away. Should I extend the invite? Do you have time in your schedule? Even if you don't pop out, come hang out. Get you a suite. Maybe you in the building, watch the show.
Okay, I would
clean.
love to see the show. I mean, popping out, that might be an option. I just don't know if I'm shooting that day.
Oh, because
If
of the
I'm
movie.
shooting that day. But
Hollywood Minaj got these
mean, it's
movies to
heavy.
make. Yo, did you used to go to Summer Jam regular style? Like,
no, I only went when Jay brought out Michael.
you were there for that?
Whoa,
Yes,
yeah,
I was there for that.
Well, if you're gonna go to one, you went to the one.
Exactly. I don't know how I got tickets, but
Were you close?
close in distance to Summer Jam.
No, to the stage.
No,
like
like
where
you
you
have
came
floor
to see
seats.
Michael.
Oh,
He was like
hell
300
no.
section.
My-
No one has a clean image of that ever.
I just saw him getting out of a box, looking like okay. I was like, but it was just it was a fun experience. But I couldn't really afford Summer Jam tickets.
Ebro.
Listen.
Trying to say your tickets aren't affordable.
This shit costs money, man. You know how much money she wants to come in the building? She's probably gonna stick me up just for like travel, makeup, and everything else.
Just to come
Oh,
say-
you invited me. Pay for my makeup,
Exactly.
travel. I need some food.